This weekend, I got the pleasure of attending the 2025 North American Championship for the Final Fantasy card game, and it was so much fun. I had a blast and got to play in the event. Just kind of wanted to talk about my experience, how the day went, how the event was, those sorts of things. What kind of decks I played, and what I think of doing moving forward. So it was a 2-day event, So we rock into day one, right? And we get some of the coolest entry prizing ever. I mean, like, we start with this playmat. Like, look at this thing. This thing's super cool. It looks so much cooler in person than I thought it was going to, and I'm very happy with it. Along with the playmat, we got thrown just a plethora of like promo packs and promo cards. We got the Alphino and Alize, the Alize Swords to Plowshares Magic promo, and the Alphino promo to go alongside it with the art, which was like, that's cool enough on its own. Like, I want to get a cool little display case to put them in so they could sit side by side together. But then we get into starting the day. So, if you weren't aware, Nationals was a format where you had to pick 2 decks and you could not share cards between those decks. Then you marked one as A, marked one as B. You played deck A for rounds 1 through 4. Then we had a lunch break, and then you played deck B for rounds 5 through 8. And then we go in the top 16, move on to day 2. So, starting off the day, my deck A, to the surprise of absolutely nobody on planet Earth, was Water Fire Warriors. The deck performed exactly how I expected it to. I went 2-2 with the Warriors. One was like, that was kind of my fault. It was my first game of the day. I lost the first game, and I don't know if it was nerves. I don't know if it was like the jet lag from the travel, but like, boy howdy, I was not playing well. So like, kind of chalked that one up as like nerves. We'll shake it off. It happens. The other game was a Mono Earth game where I took a pretty big risk going for a Zidane turn 1, and it sadly didn't pay off. And hindsight, probably shouldn't have went for it. But, sometimes in the heat of the moment, again, sometimes you drop the Zidane and you just win the game on the spot. So, like, heat of the moment, I took a risk, didn't pay off. Okay. Then we got to go into a lunch break. Afterwards, we had our deck B. So deck B for me was Mono Earth. And let me tell you, that deck did not vibe with me. I don't know what it was. I was having a lot of difficulty leading up to the event, trying to think of a good deck that would complement Water Fire Warriors without sharing or stealing too many cards from that deck. And it was really tough. I was looking at Water Lightning Monsters, but I was losing the Lena. I was kind of competing with the Water LBs. Hindsight, probably should have just tried it. But, not being able to use, Axstar, I can't go into Wool 7. Clive Ifrit, I can't go into Knights. It was really kind of difficult. I ended up settling on Mono Earth. I, was playtesting with my group for a bit with it. It was feeling all right. So I was like, you know what? Let's stick with it. Big mistake. I went 1-3 with Mono Earth, and I did not have fun. I did not like that deck. I should have played the 12. I could have done better with the 12. I swear to you. So that was definitely something for me to kind of take away to maybe going to Nationals next year, going into a 2-deck format, is being a little more prepared in picking my second deck. As for like what other people did, I saw there was a lot of Warriors in the room. There was a lot of Water Lightning Monsters in the room, and there was a lot of Wool 7 and Knights in the room. Not really super surprising, but like that was the big bulk of the room, I would say, and then there was some Earth scattered here and there. Some Chark scattered here and there, but for the most part, those 4 decks I mentioned were like, that was most of people's deck A or B. But yeah, so I ended up not having the best day one, but you know what? I had fun. Got to play some cool games, hung out with my friends, got some amazing entry prizing, and we got to come back on day 2. So day 2, we came back, and first off was coming back to support my good friend, teammate Amart, who made top 16 in day 1. So he was fighting for his Worlds invite in day 2. Now they started super early, like earlier than we were even allowed in the room. But we came in later for side events. He was still in the event, so it was fun to get to, you know, we only could watch from a distance. They had like a little barrier set up, but it was still nice to be able to be there and like cheer him on and support him. And we got to do a little side events. So I was really bummed because like the main side event I wanted to do was the Gunslinger, where you get to play against some of the, you know, people from that, you know, produce the game, or, you know, those sorts of things. And it filled up within like, you know, 20-30 minutes. We got there a little later because we were having lunch and it went over a little bit. And I was like, it was like the one thing I wanted to do. And I was like, I was really bummed that I didn't get to do that. But there were some other things to do. They had like the Wolves Den side event, which was like this thing where you can jump in and out, and they had challenges you could complete. And they also were letting people like, just like play in little 4-player constructed pods. It was like $5 entry, and then they had a bunch of prizing to give out. So I played in one of the little pods. I got first place. I played the 12 like I should have on day 1. And I got some cool prizes that they had out there, which was nice. So we stuck around there until Amart eventually got knocked out. Sadly, he was actually 1 win away from his Worlds invite, which was, you know, I'm still super proud of him. It was super impressive. So we hung around the side event. We got to check out the awards ceremony. They had lots of cool prizes up throughout the day, and you know, they had all the prizes you could win for top 16 out on like a table, so you can kind of see some of that stuff. And then they had a big ceremony where, you know, the top 16 lined up in the front, and they called their names and gave them their prizes or their trophies all together. And it was really cool. And then we got to like, and then they like opened it up, and we got to take a photo as a group, which was really fun. So afterwards, we just kind of got to hang out as a group. Me, Amart, we went with some friends over. They had a Seventh Heaven pop-up shop over in LA, so we went over, checked that out later in the evening. They had some cool drinks. There was like, the atmosphere was super cool. I'm glad we went and checked that out. It was like a really fun way to just kind of end off the day. It was really relaxing. We just got to hang out and talk about the weekend, and, you know, it was really cool. I'm glad I got to be there for it. But yeah, there's a lot of things that I feel, me personally, that I, you know, get to take away from this. You know, I didn't do as well as I had expected or hoped, but that's okay. You know, like I said, I definitely learned some lessons in, like, first off, I want to be a little more prepared next year if I get my invite, to practice a little more in getting my 2 decks that really mesh well together. I think I messed around a little too much with my second deck, and I didn't really get the time to nail down something that felt really good for me. And I want to kind of spend the off season now just really hammering down, figuring out like which kinds of styles of decks suit me, you know, and what kinds of decks I vibe with. Because sometimes, like, it's kind of difficult for me to find that, but I also find myself like shying away from some decks sometimes, like, ooh, that sounds too difficult, or, you know, like, ooh, I don't think that that's aggro. I don't do aggro. But it's like, well, every deck has some different styles. There's different ranges of these things, right? And I think knowing what kinds of decks you vibe with can help you, you know, at least me, make better decisions moving forward for what kinds of decks I can play and look into going into like 2 deck formats like this, and not feel as locked into something, you know. I spent so long this season playing Warriors, which, I mean, they served me well. I was having so much fun with that deck, but then I kind of almost locked myself into it, where I'm not sure if it was the best pick for a deck because it conflicted so hard with playing a second deck. So definitely some things for me to take away for personal growth in this off season. But yeah, I just wanted to make a little video kind of talking about nationals, talk about the event, and you know, share with everyone how I did and what kinds of things I'm going to be doing moving forward. So yeah, until the next one, everyone, take care.